What's going on YouTube? This is Chaos-Reighn here, and today I'm here to bring you a little bit of a update. I know it's been a couple of days since I've been posting, but there's been a lot of stuff going on. I have been playing, just not been able to post or update my videos due to stuff going on with my life. So today is going to be kind of a crash course on what I'm doing, what's going to happen soon, and what I have planned for the near future. So first things first, I will say that I am currently ongoing with making the transfer towards MF, and I have currently all the gear, the gyms, and everything like that that I need to get started. One thing I don't have is Inspired Learnings, but I am going to be running it without him to start, and then maybe work my way getting a couple of cards while I am grinding. So first things first, we do have a healthy amount of Exalts and Chaos. We do have a lot of stuff in the works, and we can probably just trade for our Headhunter. However, the point of this whole next grind is going to be so I can grind enough currency to not just trade for the Headhunter, but to get pretty much whatever else I want, ergo like the Mage Blood or anything like that. That way I can, just kind of grind it out. So, first things first, we have ourselves a Wind Ripper with faster projectiles. Now, I am going to be using a Tornado Shot MF Wind Ripper setup, and I am going to be doing this for solo and for duo play slash group play. And there's a couple reasons for this. So the first reason is Tornado Shot is going to basically be a hard carry, and with the faster projectiles, it means my Tornado Shots, the projectiles will go farther and hit more enemies. The second reason is because when I have my partner in the same map as me, we are going to be able to sit there and just kind of grind out whatever we can, just kind of boom, 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 get it all knocked out as fast as possible, and that's going to be like the goal there is because I'm going to be running Coaling Strike, item rarity on my Herald device, and so on and so forth, while he's running a Ice Shot with the replica here, Tacilio's Sign, along with the gloves that prevent him from um, killing enemies unless they are frozen. So because he cannot freeze enemies, and then he's adding a lot of cold damage, and he cannot kill enemies unless they're frozen, he's going to set their lives to 1, and I'm going to kill and cold them at 1, basically using Chain Fork, GMP Rarity, so on and so forth, and clearing enemies like screens and screens away while he sits there and sets their life to 1. So my solo play recommendation is going to be, I do need to recolor the bow, but it's going to be LE damage with attacks inspiration for the obvious ones. I actually have myself a divergent inspiration, so it kind of reduces the cost of the increased cost here. And then I would recommend chain alt quality hypothermia because frozen enemies are going to take more damage. And then I have over here, we have Awakened Cold Pen, Awakened LA Damage Tax, and where's the other one? Added Cold. So we have our setup relatively ready to go. We just got to do a little bit more tweaking and we're good to go. The second thing I'm going to recommend is the Asenath's Chant. If you've seen my old videos, you know how powerful this is. This thing alone will help you hard carry your damage. As a MF build, I will be able to beat up to A8 bosses and about A4, 5, or 6 Cyrus, depending on how much I scale the damage from there. I will most likely need to switch to avoid Fletcher eventually, but I'm trying to build this build on an extreme budget. I got all 4 of my cards to upgrade the chant, which I got from a friend who enchanted it um, for me, knowing that I play Ice Shot every league. I got that, and this whole thing only cost me like I think 230 chaos, X being about 100 C each, so about 2X and 30 chaos. The prophecy otherwise is 3X plus, but I got really lucky and managed to pick up the card super cheap. The next thing I'm going to say is the Biscos. So I actually got this Biscos for about, I think, 15-20 chaos, and I really liked it because it has increased recovery rate. I don't really care about the life because I'm going to be running a very low tier map, which is going to basically make me blow through these maps like nothing. So because I'm going to be doing this, it's going to be very easy for me to just kind of get my flash spat, just kind of just sustain, 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 so on and so forth. And another thing I can do is actually become a Pathfinder and use the quantity and rarity flask, or craft rarity, at least on a flask of mine, and have increased rarity during flask effect. And since I have more flask recovery rate, this is basically says 15% more flasks. It's very strong, especially if you have flasks automated to some kind of point. And I do recommend if you can get one with the kringle of this, go for it. But for me, this is what I'm choosing because I like that. I only currently have this for my rings. I need to fix my reses, but because I have a damage bot basically coming with me for the duo, I am going to basically be using Herald of Purity to res cap and a couple other things. Eventually, I will need to get a Ventur's Gamble with very good rolls and pay probably a lot of chaos for it, or exalts even. But for now, because I have the damage bot, I will basically be able to do um, full on quant as much as possible. Eventually, I will be getting Pariah and Venters for res plus quant as much as I can possibly get. Next is our 10 quantity Sedemas with elemental weakness. Now, I actually had two pairs of Sedemas, both of them 10 quant. I actually took this pair, valed it, and hit LE weakness on my first one, and then I valed the other one and sold that one for 20 chaos because, you know, people are really crazy over the quant right now. So I got that, and I was like, wow, that's insane. I'm going to keep this for the build. That's my one curse I need. However, because I am using the Asenath chant, I'll go over why I'm not only using one curse, I'm going to be using two. Next here is the Hiri's Demise. Now, the Hiri's Demise solves a lot of our problems. It gives us quite a few things, one of them being attributes, attack speed, and a lot of flat cold. We're naturally going to have a decent amount of dexterity because we're pathing on the Deadeye side, and we are going to be Deadeye. And then that's going to give us a lot of cold. And then we have a little bit of fire and lightning. So if we do crit, or if we get our crit chance high enough, which isn't too hard to do with a Deadeye, especially using the Lion Eye Fall, we're going to have no real issues applying the shock. Even at 20% effect, it's going to be pretty easy for solo mapping. Of course, I will be switching to Avoid Fletcher when they become more readily available. Now, this here is MVP. I've ran quant builds in the past, and this is really insane. Now, it says quantity when you slay normal enemies, so this is really good because normal enemies are the easiest enemies to kill and shatter. So whenever you're sitting there with this, it says quantity from items dropped by slaying frozen enemies. Normal enemies has the least life pool, so they're going to be easily frozen, meaning this plus this means they're just going to pop and pop and pop. Now, when you go into the nightmare, that pop is going to be really insane. As you see, we have all of our gear lined up. I also have a general ice shot setup already ready. With right here, our armor is high res with non-cursora and regen life per second, with, you know, insane dex and really high evasion. So this is going to be a really good armor when I decide to go for the damage setup. Now, one good thing about the damage setup is that it is almost exclusively a gear swap compared to the other setup. And once I have the Headhunter, I will literally be able to just sit there and do nothing but grind maps as fast and as consistently as possible. Now, we have Ice Shots leveled up. We are currently in the progress of leveling up a couple of our gyms here. We have Tornado Shot at level 19, two of them, in case we decide to go for the Focus Ballista Tornado Shot setup, which if you haven't tried that, I do recommend. However, I don't know if I'm going to be doing that or Ice Shot single target. We'll find out as kind of we progress things. Our Cold Pin is almost max level. All of our gyms are really well leveled up. Our Inspiration is level 19. We're doing really well here, so we're just going to kind of see how this how this rolls. Now, one of the things I will say to get, which is relatively hard to get, is the Divergent Bone Chill. Divergent Bone Chill says skills, supported skills have up to 10% increased effective chill on enemies. So we're doing this because if you see here, supported skills have 45% increased effective chill on enemies. Enemies chilled by supported skills take increased, or say have supported skills increase cold damage taken by chill effect. So if you get your chill effect really good on, I believe I'm using Creeping Frost, which is just basically big AoE like splots of cold chilled ground, which will make enemies that walk over it chilled. Basically, they're going to walk over it and then immediately take insane amounts more of damage. Now, if you can manage this, go for it. It is very, very strong. I'm going to be doing it in my setup with the Asenath's Chant. It's going to be Asenath's Chant socketed with a couple of things. The first thing is going, let me see if I have it. I might not have leveled up Sniper's Mark. There it is. Sniper's Mark, Creeping Frost, Bone Chill, Hydrosphere. I have my Hydrosphere already max level. Now, I will say this isn't really recommended. You don't need a max level Hydrosphere. You can actually use level 1 or 1 to 5, depending on how high your int goes. But I leveled it up max because I plan to, if at worst case, just reset it to 1 and level it back up until I get the intelligence via, gear and tree or whatever to get it going. Now, again, I said I'm going to be use purity of elements instead of hatred and Herald of Ice and all that, or sorry, hatred specifically. And I'm going to be using Herald of Ice attached with item rarity. I don't have the item rarity just yet, but I mean, I figured that, it's rarity, it's not quantity. I'm not going to really care too much if it's not leveled up just yet, so who cares? We'll get to it when we get to it. And then that's pretty much it for our auras. We don't really plan to do too much. As I said, our damage bot is going to be doing all the damage, while we are going to have a little bit of defense and a little bit of utility to go with it. That's why we're using Creed's Embrace. I have seen a couple people say that using Devotos will cancel the reduced movement speed. This is very, very true. I chose to use this because it cancels a little bit of the movement speed, but it also gives you attack speed. It also gives you all the utility that Asenath's Chant always gives you. The attack speed that you get is less than Devoto's, but we have enough attack speed because we're a Deadeye, we have Tailwind and all that other stuff going for us. Now, if you guys want to see this build in action, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Click that little bell icon and let me know, hey, how's it going with your quant build? I will gladly post updates on it. I will be grinding out the quant as soon as I can. Now, instead of doing just purely towers, I'm probably going to be doing any and every white tier map I can to grind up as much currency. And one of the things I'm going to be either starting with before or after, depending on my mood, is these. Now, I have a few 10 stacked Voldo's Rest maps, and that's basically what I'm going to be going for. I also have a couple of them baking, which is at 8 right here, and this one's at 5. Now, I will mention a couple of things. I have watched a few YouTube videos about people that are kind of upset about, what this league entails and why it's so bad for the gear and Kringling. I'm going to show you something that not a lot of people are aware of, or if they are, they don't pay too much attention. I have found every single one of these things exclusively in either 1, very low tier maps, or 2, in Heist. Now, Heist is very, very famous for dropping, 5-link 6-socket pieces of gear. And when you get those pieces of gear and you 6-link them, you can easily sell them for like an X or 2. If they get really insane implicits, they can go for like 5x, 10x plus, depending on, what piece of gear. An example of what I am talking about, I will actually go over here, just kind of show you. It's right there. We actually bought this really cheap, but we have a 6-link here is Ire with Wind Dancer and Dex requirement. Now, Dex requirement does not matter for this item because Dex requirement literally is just, who cares if our Dex armor has more Dex requirement on a Dex build, right? This is insane. We have it priced for 8x currently, and it has Wind Dancer on it. Now, I know the new Wind Dancer is less than ideal, but I mean, it's still pretty good. Now, we do have a couple other things, like we have another Death Opus here, which has prod speed for the 3rd Kringle. This is really good for taking a shot as well if I decided to use this. This is also near perfect rolled. If you can't tell, it is 125, and then it has 17 to 35. Unfortunately, I forgot to bless it, but it's whatever. I mean, honestly, it's just kind of there. If it sells, it sells. And then we have a couple of interesting little things here. Right here we have a Sarkonja's, which is triple Kringled with cold damage leeches life. It hasn't been enchanted yet, but if I get a Ice Shot enchant, it'll be insane. It has additional evasion, and nearby enemies have +9 to Chaos Res, which is fine on a cold build. And then, of course, we have this one here, which is the Socketed Gems. I have mana multiplier. Cannot leech ES, which is a shame because I believe the builds that want this are going to want to leech ES. And then minions leech life. Minion leaves 5% 0.5% damage is life. It's kind of meh. I am gonna probably enchant it with something, but unfortunately, the one thing I wanted to do was Power Siphon, and that's not going to be good anymore. So I'll probably put on like something to do with the strength stacking Cyclone or something. Cyclone attack speed, we'll see. But that's just an example of some things that you can hit, and some things I would recommend like looking out for. This here is another thing. If you ever get the 10 quality of socketed gems on any of your weapons, especially if they're 6 socket, now doing this is really good for certain builds, because if you just put this on and put a bunch of empowers in with 20 quality, you're going to level them a lot faster, and it'll feel a lot like you're grinding a lot less to get them to the level that you need them to get. So I do recommend, if you have the ability to do that, go for it. Go ahead and do that. Just a little bit of tidbits here. I haven't done it this league, but I mean, just I know that it is a possible to get that Kringle, and there are people who are going to want it. Obviously, getting it on a good weapon that you're going to use. Like if I had 10 quality, 10 to quality on this, that would be insane for all of my gems. Like for example, for chain, getting 10% chain range, that's or 5% chain range off of a free implicit. That's just pretty solid, right? You would want to do that no matter what you say. So thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoy my videos, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I know I already said that, but I'm saying it again. Take it easy, everyone, and sorry for the double outro. Have a good one.